Welcome to Overwatch. And welcome to something a little bit different. You might notice that this isn't actually me playing or anything. You can probably see this bar at the bottom as well if you can see my mouse. This is a recording of a match, and the sound also is just going to be music in the background. Unfortunately, I can't play the sound of this match because what we're doing is we're going to be doing a VOD review of a tournament match. In particular, this is ANOX versus Misfits on Lijiang Tower in the Overwatch Open. This is the final to find out who gets that #1 spot to go on to the regional qualifier. And this match, to me, was one of the most clever and intelligent and really cool matches that you can possibly see. And also is really good for showing kind of the meta right now as it stands on Lijiang Tower. Now, the quality is going to be kind of shaky because this is literally a recording of a stream, so it's gonna be bad at points. I'm sorry guys, this is the only way I can do it without getting some high quality VODs, and I don't have access to those, unfortunately. Now, the entire first fight has already run past, and we're gonna just jump back, because what I want to do is jump back and forward through this game, but focus on a few engagements in particular rather than the entire thing, because it does go the full distance. So I'm gonna pause it right here. Now, okay, so engaging on Lijiang Tower on Night Market, what we're seeing lately is this kind of 4-unit composition, okay? You see it on both teams as well. You got Winston, you have Zarya, you have Zenyatta, and you have Genji, okay? These are the 4 pieces that are going to be really important in the coming fight. Lucio is mostly there for a speed boost and healing and sound barrier and all that good stuff, all the good stuff that Lucio is famous for. And then your McCree is there just because McCree, it was overpowered as fuck. Might still be, we don't know yet. But McCree's just there for the reliable damage, for like the picking off at long range. He's just very good at the moment. But the interesting thing about this engagement is both teams always seem to always at least favor this pathway. They go out to the middle and then they come here to this courtyard area. What you're going to see is then one of the Winstons jumps in and Zarya hits them with a barrier. What this is meant to do, and then he will drop a bubble. This is meant to sort of establish a forward beachhead, if you will, for the team to push into and attack into. But what it's really meant to do is free up the Genji. This means that the Winston is sort of soaking up and sponging up attention. Genji can then get into the back line, hopefully deal enough damage to get a bunch of kills. Now this first engagement, when I play it out, actually goes kind of badly. We see the Winston jump in, and a lot of damage goes in. Like right now, Jesus, if I just skip back to about here, like a huge amount of damage has been dealt to a lot of these heroes. Now this Winston skipjack, like it's so blurry right now, but you got to just sort of deal with it because it's motion. Skipjack got really low, but the team actually did a really good job. Misfits pulled back a little bit, and most importantly, Soon didn't die, which is so vital. ANOX is already on like half hit points. He's dropped low, so the offensive Winston's already dropped really low. That means that Cypher's going to actually have a hard time in this fight, because what's going to happen very soon is, because the Zarya barrier's already been popped, you can't purge the Discord anymore. Discord goes back on Winston, Winston goes down, and that lets people focus on the Genji, but they don't even need to as well, because what also happened in that first engagement is Crew got about, you know, this is the Zarya death laser here. Crew got about, I don't know, 50, 60 charge off that first engagement, and no one died. So what Crew's going to do is bounce back and just go big in this fight. So you can see, down goes ANOX, he gets hunted down. They do lose the, they also lose the McCree, but that's not really important because Crew's so huge right now, and Zappa is also in there, and basically the rest of the team doesn't have enough damage to stop them. McCree alone isn't enough to actually get rid of this Zarya, so Zarya just balls into them with all the extra damage coming in as well, and just cleans up. That just leaves Cypher alone on the point. Cypher can't fight all of these people at once, so it's not alone, but mostly alone. He also whiffs that jump, that hurts to watch. Like, Genji is really good on Night Market because there's a lot of health packs you can just sort of bounce around to. And one of my favourite escape routes is just going up and over this wall because there's large health on the other side. Unfortunately, he whiffs it, goes down, and they lose the first point. Okay, so bad news bears basically for ANOX. That's really bad. Losing the first point means you're down on ultimate charge, so if you take a quick look, we pause it, because we have these facilities. Now, Cypher is ready to go. Like, that's the big bonus with them in this fight. Meanwhile, like, Crew's almost ready to go. Sharak is just got nothing compared to him. And so that is actually like a major discrepancy here, because Crew is massive at this point. Zebasai is also a good 20% ahead, so he's going to have a defensive ultimate well ahead of the Graviton Surge coming out here soon, almost as a Deadeye, but Deadeye charges super fast regardless. And Cooler is still down at this stage, because they died so late. So what are they going to need to do for this next engagement? Well, honestly, it's pretty much going to be the same as the first engagement. What they want to do is get that Winston in there. Winston, again, is just in there just to purely occupy attention. Like, all these people are focusing him. If I just jump back, hopefully get a good shot of that. Because, okay, so in this blurry mess, you can see that this is Winston, right? Zapri's focusing in, Winston's focusing in, everyone is focusing on the Winston. What this means is that Cypher can then get in there, and also Kenzie gets a good pick as well, takes out Zapri. Cypher draws the Dragon Blade, 1 kill, 2 kill, and then starts tearing through the entire team. Winston eats up attention. Kenzie gets a good quick pick. That lets Cypher get in there and get a ton of damage out with a Dragon Blade. Maximum value Dragon Blade, that lets ANOX take the point. And that is the story of this entire first map. So basically what you're going to see again and again and again is Winston eats attention. Their Graviton Surge Transcendence fired off, negates it. No real value of that. Kenzie gets a kill, ANOX gets a kill. Like, Graviton Surge for Transcendence is a pretty common trade. That's kind of what you're expecting to see. Kenzie again gets a bunch more kills. Good job, Kenzie. Doing a really good job, really solid on that McCree. And again, they've just wiped them at this front door. That leaves Sharek with an ultimate. That said, Zebasai is also ready to go, so expect those to negate each other in the coming fight, but they just got to be careful not to get picked off again and again and again. But what's really the big issue is they're focusing the wrong target, right? ANOX is just literally there to eat attention, to eat Discord orbs, and then get purged by the Zarya. Now, also what happens there, by the way, is that the Graviton does go off, but they have a Deadeye ready, and they don't mine the Deadeye properly. So Graviton goes off, Transcendence is up, so no one's going to die, but Kenzie is somewhere firing Deadeye. I think he's like behind them. Manages to get 2 targets. 2 targets is more than enough to swing the fight completely. That's a really good trade. So they fire Graviton, Deadeye, get 2 kills, win the team fight. That gives them about 30% extra. Really nice. They also have like sound barrier charging. Cypher's also most importantly ready to go with another Dragon Blade. And as long as the fights keep going the same way, spoiler, they will for this map I do think, then you're just going to see the same thing happen again and again and again. You're just going to see Winston jumps in, takes a bunch of damage, but Zarya bails him out. Maybe he ults to bail himself out. Cypher goes in, gets some kills. Now, unfortunately, Cypher goes down super early in that fight. McCree gets a good pick, so good job by Soon getting that. And that actually does let the team push out and take the point once again. But again, they're in kind of this dicey situation where Cypher is just ready to go, and they don't have a plan just yet. Now, they are getting pushed to spawn. Cypher has to be careful, has to run away. Thankfully, he didn't die there. If he died there, that would have been really, really bad. ANOX goes in, Transcendence goes in, Cypher draws the Dragon Blade. Fortunately, the camera isn't on the Dragon Blade at the moment. No kills just yet, but he's trying to find them. Cooler manages to finish one off. There we go. Cypher gets Crew down. That's a big important target. That Zarya is doing so much damage. Crew Zarya is really, really damn good. ANOX cleans up in the back, taking out Zebasai. But again, all the damage is coming out of Cypher and Kenzie, and Cypher with the Dragon Blade is just so deadly in this matchup. Like the wins. So the big reason why you're seeing Genji these days is because Zenyatta is so strong, right? Zenyatta just sets people up for assassination. When you have good communication between the Zenyatta and the Genji, it basically makes the Genji that much more powerful. It's like having a constant nano boost on the Genji. It's why you don't need to really nano boost Genjis in a pro level match. Here, Kenzie fires off a Deadeye, doesn't get any value off it, really. Does force out the bubble a little bit early, perhaps, but again, it's just not, it's not the best. It's not really going to work out that well for him. But again, we see Cypher just duking, jiving, getting bailed out by Sharek. Sharek's been really on point as well throughout this entire match, just making sure that he can bail people out of bad decisions. Goes in, gets a bit of poke, but does manage to retreat. And again, this is actually good poke. This is a good stable poke. They're on 99%. They only need to win one team fight. They just got to wait for Sharek to get that ultimate up and running. Then they'll go in, push the point, drop a Graviton Surge, and Cypher's almost good to go as well. Is the Transcendence up and ready? No, Transcendence will not be ready, so this should be a clean and easy fight for these guys. There's the Surge. Cypher draws the blade, gets a kill, gets a second kill, gets a third kill probably off the back of this. There we go. And oh, Zenyatta's not long for this world either. Very clean, very easy for these guys to do that. Like, there's no counter available for Misfits. There's no ultimate they can use aside from Sound Barrier, but Sound Barrier is not going to buy you that much time and space anyway, especially in a prolonged team fight, and especially like it counters some Dragon Blade, but not all of Dragon Blade, not in a massive team fight either. It will counter like a solo Dragon Blade, but when there's enough damage flying around, it's just a big problem. So again, they go running in. Zapri does get a Dragon Blade off, but unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get all the value he wants out of it. No, he gets shut down there by the Zarya. Camera's on cooler for some reason. As we try and figure this out, again, Soon is swapped to Tracer, try and get to the point quickly, but doesn't manage it. I'm going to have a quick slurp of coffee and then jump to the next match. So the question then that Misfits has to ask is, how do we solve this issue, right? How do we deal with this? Now, the next map we're going to is the Tower. The tower is honestly like one of the most diverse maps in terms of stuff you get to see played these days, although again, you know, teams have basically fall back onto what you're seeing now as the lineups, but there are some interesting things you can do on this map. Again, first engagement, pretty much the same as it is on Night Market, right? Winston jumps in, gets a barrier, puts down the beachhead. People fight back and forth for kills. Winston tries to eat up space. Cypher goes down fairly early, unfortunately, so he's not going to be in the back for that much longer. All the damage is basically relying on Kenzie. Luckily, Kenzie can deliver, but does get picked off by Zapre there. So there goes the threats for ANOX. Means Misfits wins the first engagement. Crew, again, being just such a huge, huge threat. In the way that Sharek kind of isn't being a huge threat on the Zarya. Sharek's Zarya is being... It's functional, right? It's bailing people out. It's doing a good job just pulling them out of danger, but... Crew's Zarya is going above and beyond, just picking up kill after kill after kill after kill. That's what you really want out of a Zarya as well. Winston jumps in, and again, this Winston is purely for distraction. He's not really looking for any value. He's just looking to eat up some of that orb and just buy a little bit of space. Zapri, though, gets into the back line. Again, just retaliates, gets a shitload of kills, so good job by Zapri. Resources definitely going into Misfits' favour as well, just because I think they used the Transcendence during that last battle. Yes, they did. Zebsize on 0% charge. So, good resource use there. Like, they use one ultimate but won a team fight. That's a really efficient and good trade in my mind. There's a Graviton Surge. Soon gets a quick kill off the back of it. Good stuff there. And again, they've changed the tactic, right? ANOX went down super early. Cypher's in the back. Cypher gets Discord Orb. Crew just cleans him up with the beam. Like, Crew's on such high charge that he can just blow through him. No problem. Cypher has no answer for that, so Cypher goes down. They need to get a lot out of this next engagement because they have 4 ultimates waiting. But they've basically changed their tactics where they're not falling for the monkey bait. Like, you saw there just for a brief second. A brief second, and you saw it. If I can just get to the right moment. I think I've gone back way too far there. Oh no. About here will do. Winston jumps in, Genji jumps in, and watch Crew. Like the Discord Orb, unfortunately the camera changes there. Like, can I go back 1 second? Right here. Discord Orb is on Genji, everything is on Genji. Everyone's ignoring the Winston. Correct play. So now we're on Genji cam, sound barrier's up, not going to deal with Soon quick enough. Crew comes into the back, kills him. Removes the threat. Winston is not the threat. Like, removing the Genji is a threat, then removing the Kenzie on the McCree is the big threat. Fuck Winston. No one gives a shit about Winston. And hey, they win the fight. And unfortunately, Cypher, like, unfortunately they did lose... actually, no, they didn't lose their healing, so I'm actually wondering why they dropped so low there. And the two, like... The respawning Cypher and Sharek do manage to get onto the point and do manage to sort of almost flip it. The reinforcements come in nice and quickly because Lucio's there. Still, this is actually a pretty good position for Misfits right now. Like, they have a lot of good ultimates. They're going to try and just push them all the way back to the spawn though. And this is the thing with this map. This is like super aggressive. This is ridiculously aggressive. So this is really cool to see. This is kind of interesting. Now, I want to go back and see how and when did momentum shift where they just lost control of the point. And so, okay, we've got this engagement. Winston jumps in, Transcendence follows it, Genji goes down, so there's, like, the primary damage dealer is down. So Cypher, gone. 5 versus 6. Ultimates still pretty much in favour of ANOX as well. Skipjack ults, doesn't actually manage to knock Kenzie off, that's a big loss there. Looking at the kill feed, Zapri goes down. Support's pretty much dried up at this point. Cooler, I think he's the only one left in the fight, so that might be a big part of why. Two Zaryas having a big duel. McCree's have a duel. There, Kenzie wins the McCree duel. Okay, Sharek wins the Zarya duel. Even though Winston does take him down, Cypher's now back from the spawn, cleans him up before he can get the big health. That's a huge, tragic loss there for them. That leaves Sharek free to take the point. Okay, so that's what happened. So basically just, like, Sharek beat out Crew, Kenzie beat out Soon, and then poor Skipjack just couldn't make it to the large health pack, and that's why he went down. Okay. Then they just go super aggressive, like they do not let them get out the spawn. This, I actually kind of like this. This is risky, just because if this goes wrong, then you'll just instantly lose the point. But they just use the momentum from that fight. They have Sharek on high charge, and they just blisteringly push in, try and get a quick kill or two, then back off wisely towards this main courtyard area, which is where you want to really be defending from. If you try and defend from too far forward, they can just stand in the spawn and be nice and safe, get free healing, and you're also immortal when you're stood back in there. Once that bridge is taken, you do see teams do this. They will push around the back just because you can't really attack into that bridge. So you have to push around the backside here, and you have to try and engage from this angle. Fortunately, that leaves you super vulnerable for a Graviton Surge. Transcendence comes out and negates the damage. But Zapri gets into the back as well, so Zapri is free while all this attention is going to the front. Zapri goes in and gets a bunch of kills, what you want. Cypher trying to retaliate and kind has the Dragon Blade drawn, does get picked off by the Winston because Winston's free to do what he wants because enough targets are dead, so Winston can go and chase him down. Also, good job by Soon landing enough damage so Winston can just come in and clean up. Misfits looking a lot better in this one just because they're starting to sort of figure out, okay, well, Cypher is the massive threat in this matchup, right? Cypher is the big problem, and hey, Crew is out, honestly, like, probably the big problem here for ANOX. So that's actually good to see that they go in, they focus him, remove him as quickly as possible. That said, Rubicon, Cypher go down instantly. Cypher, again, one of the big threats. It's just Kenzie left to deal damage. Can Kenzie deal enough damage? Well, honestly, he's not doing a bad job. Charek's also there to help out. Winston's just being really annoying, does beat him to death eventually. Oh, that frame rate drop. Lovely. Beautiful. That's going to be in the video. And then, yeah, Zapri comes in, starts cleaning up. Winston versus Genji. Honestly, like, with a high enough level, the Genji could probably win that. Crew, oh Jesus, that was so good by Crew. He actually managed to trade 1-for-1 there with a Discord on him. Like, that's really good. But Cypher goes in for the outplay, does manage to secure the point, 99% to 50%. If I was Misfits, I wouldn't be panicking yet. Like, you have a good position here to come in and take it. You have a Dragon Blade ready. You have 50% on Crew, so unfortunately you're probably not going to have that in time for at least the next two pushes. You might be able to sort of get the Graviton out for the overtime battle if it gets to that. But again, pushing around this backside is what we normally see. Eating a ton of poke on the way in, but it's not too big of an issue. As I said, Cypher is ready with the Dragon Blade. Got a good flank on. Attention is not on him, so he should be able to deal a lot of damage here. If Soon goes down early as well, that's a huge, huge loss. Rubicon also gets the better of the Genji there. Zebasai actually takes Cypher down, which is good for them, but again, just so much fracturing, so much attention divided. Looking kind of spotty for Misfits on this push. Boom, all the damage dealers are down. Push secured. Good, good, good. Again, big loss there was just like Cypher going down to this Zenyatta was just a huge issue. Like, this is such a good position to come in from because all the attention is elsewhere. McCree is there, but McCree versus Genji when you have Dragon Blade and a Winston just soaking attention for you is honestly not a bad fight. But it looks like, yeah, he just gets dinked out by Zebasai, so good job by Zebasai because he basically turned that entire fight there. Means that, hey, he might be alive in time to get an ultimate off. I'm just keeping an eye on his ultimate charge, but no, it looks like the rest of them just got cleaned up on the back. So even though Cypher ate all that attention, losing the McCree early just means that they lost too much damage and lost the team fight. See, now's when you start worrying as Misfits because Sharex is ready to go. Crew is not ready to go, and that's a big problem. They do have the Transcendence, but Transcendence is already blown, so it won't be... Oh no, there's a Graviton, yeah. Graviton coming out after Transcendence, so that's just going to be a team wipe right there. That early Transcendence just cost them the match, I think. Right, what triggered that Transcendence? See if you can actually get a view on what forced that Transcendence. Does Zebasai drop? No, he just fires it. Okay, so he just fired the Transcendence and just basically said, so I'm guessing the call on the team was we just want to push with Transcendence and try and get a bunch of kills, but you can't do that into a Zarya that hasn't fired an ultimate off for a while. That was a spotty call, shall we say. I guess they just didn't expect Sharrock to have the Graviton Surge, because what happens then is that Sharrock knows that, hey, in about 4 seconds I'm free to fire off Graviton Surge and we can kill them all and get a free team wipe because they have no counter. So, suddenly Misfits are 2-0 up. Not Misfits, ANOX are 2-0 up. This is huge. I'm going to have a quick slap of coffee and then we're going to jump into the next game. So this has been the first half of it. The second half will just go up tomorrow, I think. Just because it was going to about 40 minutes. I know I did record it in one big block, but I realized that, hey, I don't think anyone's going to be able to sit through 40 minutes of blurry Overwatch. So let's split it into two. And maybe that will work? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm experimenting here. Let me know if you want it in a big 40-minute block. Let me know if you want it in two 20-minute blocks. I'll experiment around and see how it goes. Doodles.